Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this Educator Evaluation Q&A. First of all, welcome. We are the Office of Educator Talent. Our website is www.michigan.gov/mde-edevals, or you can contact us at mde-edevals@michigan.gov. I am Marty Snitchen. I'm the Regional Support Analyst here at the Office of Educator Talent. With me is Brian Lloyd, Education Research Consultant, and Rebecca Emmerling, Educator Evaluation Unit Manager. Today is a little different format than our usual webinars. We really wanted to design this webinar mostly to be just kind of a Q&A. So during this session, we would like you to please utilize the Q&A feature to ask your questions. As we get a question, we will read it verbally, and then also each question will be answered verbally. After the presentation, we plan on typing out the answers and then sending that completed Q&A document to each participant, so you have, the documented answers there for you. So as we look through here, and obviously any questions related to educator evaluation, we are happy to answer. These could range from clarifications on previous webinars, legal requirements for educator evaluations, student growth models, helpful resources for educator evaluations, framework tool scoring, determining an overall effectiveness score from teacher performance and student growth data, or sustainability, or whatever topic or question that you have related to educator evaluations. We'll try to get through every question that is asked. Again, if for some reason time does not allow for us to get to every answer, we will answer that question through the Q&A document and have that answer provided as we send it out to everybody. So with that said, feel free to start using the Q&A box available to you to ask questions. All right, so our first question has come in. So how do you evaluate the teacher of record for homeschool teachers?
Good morning, Angie. Thanks for joining us this morning. I guess before I can answer that question, I have to follow up with another question. Is that teacher exclusively a homeschool teacher, or are there opportunities to observe that teacher in a classroom environment? So while we're waiting for you, yep, only homeschool, okay. That's a challenge. That's a definite challenge. And I suppose that that's going to have to be something that the local comes up with protocols and procedures for within their local evaluation model. There is quite a bit of latitude within the EdEval law to locally define processes and procedures, in particular when you have unique situations. So one suggestion that I have made to superintendents, and it's been concurred by different legal entities out there, it's best if you codify those things and if you clearly define when you do plan to make some local decisions around protocol, and you clearly articulate that through a mechanism such as board policy and or administrative guidelines, and that those are clearly posted and available to your stakeholders. So hopefully that was helpful, but if not, please follow up and ask me to maybe contact you personally, and maybe we can have a little more conversation around what that might look like in your local.
All right, thank you for your question. We're just waiting for other questions to come in. Again, we thank you for joining us this morning, and we are just...
So I just got a question that says, which tool would be best for evaluating online teachers, and how would that work as far as classroom observation requirements? So that kind of goes in line again with homeschool teachers or any kind of unique teaching assignment such as online teachers or blended online teachers can be. Once again, if your district has adopted an evaluation model and wants to work locally to adopt some protocols around the idea that an online teaching situation or a blended online teaching situation is unique and presents unique circumstances, it would be advisable that you codify those protocols and that they make sense, and that that's something that your district decides collaboratively with a number of stakeholders, and then you once again are transparent with those decisions, and they are included in your postings and assurances, and they serve the population, they serve the students, and they serve the professionals who need and deserve feedback. So hopefully that addresses that question. I would follow that up with this. If there is a situation where there's an exclusively online teacher, there are tools that are out there that that do measure and provide a framework for feedback. So if you're interested in accessing a list of those tools, let me know. I can pull one together. It's something that I'm actually working on constructing right now for a few constituents out in the field who've asked for that. So thank you for the question.
All right, we have another question that has come in. In terms of sustainability, what is MDE's plan for monitoring how well districts are supported and how well implementation is going?
So I think that a misnomer around the educator evaluation law and just kind of floating around out there in the field is that MDE is going to become the educator evaluation police. That is not in the plans. We are currently not staffed to even attempt to monitor, or especially on a statewide level. So as far as monitoring compliance of implementation, that is not a function of the Office of Educator Talent at the Michigan Department of Education. When a district posts their protocols and their professional development plans and their adopted tools and post all of those pieces that are required through the law. What they're doing is they're saying we are going to implement the system that we have adopted with fidelity, and we are going to implement it in the manner in which is posted on our postings and assurances page. And so, you know, we received the question on several different occasions and stated in several different ways, you know, well, where are the teeth in that? You know, what's going to happen if we don't do it? And the best scenario that I can conjure up for you would be if a district does not adhere to the postings and assurances on their website and they begin to make weighty personnel decisions based on their end-of-year efficacy ratings, it could potentially come back as a lawsuit, and it could potentially be very costly, and it could be there could be a lot of fallout from that practice, and it goes all the way from morale issues and cultural issues and just the perpetuation of a situation where there's a lack of trust. So in addition to the fact that you'd be opening yourself up to some liability, you're also, not doing your district any favors in terms of promoting a collaborative and dynamic learning environment for your students, your professionals, or other constituents. If that did not address your question completely, Sanine, if you could please follow it up with an additional question, hopefully that gave you something to run with. Thank you.
Okay, our next question. Are there any examples or guidance on how to incorporate 3 years of student growth data? And for that question, I'm going to pass it over to Brian Lloyd.
Thanks, Marty. As Rebecca was responding to the last couple questions, I was able to look ahead and see this question and type out a response. So that is a good question that Dana asked. Within the law, there is within 380.1249, there is a mandate to use 3 years of student growth data. The guidance that we are planning to provide for the use of state assessment data, we will provide policy guidance to average, take the mean of 3 years of SGP mean scores. So averaging of the average of SGP scores to use as a metric to determine a student growth rating for state assessment data. There is research that 3 years of SGP student growth percentile data it provides more valid metric than a single year score. So there's good research out there that that is best practice to aggregate 3 years of student growth percentile data. The research on, say, student learning objective data does not necessarily provide that indication. And 3 years of student learning objective data does not necessarily the research doesn't necessarily suggest that you would get a more accurate, a more valid, a more reliable metric. MDE's guidance for the use of of 3 years of student growth data provides flexibility for local districts to aggregate or to use 3 years of student growth data for measuring student growth. One possible method that we've provided guidance for is that the use of 2 years of trend data or 2 years of assessment data, prior year assessment data, to determine student growth goals for the current year. Uses 3 years of student growth data and could meet the 3-year mandate, the use of 3 years of data to measure student growth mandate. Now, that's one possible method, and some districts do not have 3 years, do not have prior year data. The law does also say that if prior year data does not exist, that then that mandate does not necessarily apply. The other possible methods that would be totally acceptable and would certainly meet the mandate would be aggregating student growth data for 3 years. And a good method for aggregating student growth data would be to average results for each current year. And so you wouldn't average the pre-test or post-test if you're using that model. You would average the change in scores over 3 years. So you're averaging the results from over a 3-year period. That gets a little bit more complex, and so you would need some, not necessarily psychometricians, but some people who are good at measurement within your district to be able to define that success criteria for you. Another possible and maybe simpler method could be to use student growth scores or to calculate student growth ratings using a single year of growth and defining criteria for student growth over that single year. Derive a single year student growth rating score and then aggregate those rating scores by averaging them with the last previous 2 years student growth ratings. So if you had a 2, a 4, and a 3, you would average those 3 scores to calculate a 3, an average of those 3 scores. But there's a lot of different ways to do it, and to aggregate 3 years of student growth data, and and especially if cohort variability is a concern, that there's a lot of variability in scoring from year to year, and that is a real concern for your district or public school academy, then that is an important consideration to put into place and to act upon. So so it does depend on your district, the data, the assessments that you're using. Teacher developed assessment would provide a lot more variability than many commercially available assessments. So the higher the lower the reliability, the lower the validity, the less research that goes into developing the assessment. Probably a lot of times the more variability that you can have, and when you have a lot of variability, you can have a lot of different results from year to year. And as we also do know, cohorts cohorts are different from time to time. So it's a good consideration to put into place. So yeah, so those are 3 different methods, and districts can choose the method that makes the most sense to them with their student population. hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, and as a follow-up to that question, we have another question down here. So what would be an alternative for new teachers, first and second year, who do not have 3 years of data?
Yeah, thanks for that question. The law states that the 380-1249 that 3 years of student growth data must be used for educator evaluations when available. So if a teacher is in their first year, prior year assessment data would not be available for that teacher. So the mandate to aggregate student growth scores over multiple years would not apply. So basically, if you were in your first year, you would use that year's data to apply to that teacher, which is more easily done, of course, with local data than with state assessment data, where you would get that after the school year is done. So, so that rule, that law applies to teachers who have the 3-year mandate applies to teachers who have taught for 3 years. If you've taught for 2 years, then 2 years of data is used. If this is your first year, then only the first year would apply. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Marty. Teachers who are hired later in the school year, that's a good question, and it's probably another one of those, local control pieces. However, as a matter of best practice, I would suggest that it is really important for those conversations and dialogues around instructional framework to begin from day one. And so I would suggest that the teacher needs to be assigned a mentor, and that the administrator in that building needs to have a sit down and collaborate with that new instructor on what that individual's goals will be for however long they are present in the classroom. And of course, it needs to be meaningful, and it needs to be a process that informs and grows the professional. So hopefully, there's enough time to establish some relationship and rapport there. But it's really important to just build those foundational pieces from the moment a new professional enters the learning environment, and it's a huge opportunity. So hopefully that provides you with the answer that you need. But Dana, if that didn't provide clarity, please follow up with another question or a follow-up question in the Q&A. Thank you.
All right, our next question. When a district uses an educator eval tool different from the one suggested by MDE and does the necessary posting, does the MDE provide any feedback and or feed forward on whether that tool is adequate to meet the state requirements?
So the legislation absolutely provides for local decision making with regard to which evaluation tool is selected. When a district selects a tool other than one of the state-approved tools for which MDE worked with the vendors and created postings and assurances documents. The individual districts have the obligation to create their own postings and assurances documents, and those documents need to include all of the necessary components that are spoken to in the legislation. If any local district or PSA would like to have a thought partner around the extent to which their locally adopted tool meets the state requirements, I know that I would be happy to be a thought partner, and I have done that for some. And there are others in the office who would be excellent thought partners around those things. And we would view that as just an opportunity to collaborate, and we welcome those opportunities and look forward to those interactions with those of you out in the field trying to make sense of all of this and make good decisions. So thanks for that question. And again, if I didn't completely answer your question, please follow it up in the Q&A. Thanks.
All right, our next question. Districts needed to have a process in place to ensure our local tools are reliable and valid. Do we need to continue this process if we have our assurances submitted?
So my short response to that question is yes. It is incumbent upon your school district to ensure that you are employing an evaluation system that is reliable, valid, and efficacious to the extent that is required in the legislation. It would be my submission that that until you are absolutely sure that your processes and protocols are effective and you are able to provide meaningful feedback that is growing your professional staff and that is contributing to a collaborative, dynamic learning environment, that you continue to work on those pieces until those objectives have been met. And then, as with all programs, it's they need to be revisited and analyzed and improved upon. So, and I would submit that that's the case with any tool that is used, whether that is one of the vendor tools or whether that is a locally adopted tool. It's just best practice. Thank you.
As we were waiting for more questions to roll in, if you notice, just added at the top of the Q&A section, you'll see a feedback survey. We really appreciate the feedback that we receive from these webinars so we can improve upon them. So please feel free to take that feedback survey. And also you'll notice the files available for download on the bottom left-hand side, which has several resources in relation to educator evaluation as well.
So this format, this question and answer kind of open format, was something that was suggested through one of our surveys, and we thought we'd give it a try and see how it went. So hopefully you'll be willing to give us some feedback on that through those brief surveys. But I also wanted to just talk for a second about our future webinar sessions. The last two surveys and this survey from today's session as well, we've been collecting data about how constituents out in the field would utilize webinar sessions over the course of the summer months when so many schools are on recess. And you know, we realize that alternative schedules are the norm in the summertime. So we also continue to ask for suggestions on needed webinar content. So we'll collect the results from today's survey, and we will put together a summer webinar schedule, and we'll be sending that out through eBlast, and we'll also be sending emails to our listservs and our prior participants. I wanted to mention as well that we have booked several on-site visitations to conduct workshops throughout the state. We're doing those bookings through our regional liaisons for the most part. So if your district or your region would be interested in having a workshop session around educator evaluation, please feel free to either connect with us through your regional liaison or connect with us directly, and we can work with your regional liaison to try to make that happen. We have several dates booked out already in June and July, and actually into August. So I wanted to just make you all aware that is an option, and we are here to provide all of you with as much support as we possibly can. So look forward to those webinar sessions being announced coming up really soon.
All right, it looks like we have a couple other questions that have come in. One, how can we create growth targets if the SLO is developed for next year, since it would be the first year it would be in use? And for that question, I'm going to hand it over to Brian.
Hi, thanks for that question. The law, the 380-1249, states that if there are student growth and assessment data available for a teacher for at least 3 school years, the annual year-end evaluation should be based on the student growth and assessment data for the most recent 3-year school year period. But if there is not student growth or assessment data available for the teacher, so if this would apply, of course, if the teacher's in their first year or second year, then student growth and assessment, then the year-end evaluation shall be based on all the student growth and assessment data that are available for that teacher. So if the teacher is in their first year of instruction, then the current year of student growth would be used to determine a student growth rating. If 2 years, if this teacher is in their second year, then 1 year either 1 year of trend data to develop a student growth rating score for the current year, or 2 years, 2 years of student growth ratings could be averaged, or the student growth data over a 2-year period could be averaged, or the use of trend data to develop a student growth score for the second year in combination with the student growth rating score that was developed for the previous year. Those two ratings could then be averaged to develop a multi-year student growth rating score. So again, there's a lot of different ways to be able to aggregate that data. Specifically to that question, the teacher uses the data that's available to them. So if they're in their first year, then they would use the current year data. Second year, the year previous data, and the current year data. And 3 years and beyond, they would use 3 years of student growth data. Hopefully that answers the question. If you need further clarification, please let me know.
All right, we actually have another student growth question that's come in. So how can we learn about the method for calculating student growth and normalize for different measures?
Which question was that?
So again, to answer this question, I'm handing it back to Brian.
That's another good question. Thanks for asking. There is a guidance document for the use of student growth percentiles that is in development, and we are planning on releasing soon. It's a guide for both policy for the use of student growth percentiles, and also a technical guide to provide guidance for aggregating student growth percentiles for over a 3-year period. So there is also a tool that has been developed that allows school staff to download the raw data from SecureSite, copy and paste that raw data into the tool, and then simply enter student UIC scores to automatically calculate and aggregate student growth percentiles over a 3-year period. So that tool has been developed. It's being vetted, as is the guidance document as well. So hopefully that guidance, after the vetting process is completed and has been approved, that guidance will be coming out here fairly soon. And hopefully that answers the question. Please let me know if you'd like any more clarification on that.
Our colleague Yolanda let me know that there are a couple of you who've called in today and you would like to submit questions. So if you could please shoot me a quick email. My email address is emmerling, EMMERLINGR, @michigan.gov. We will pull those questions in and try to get those questions answered. But please do it real quickly because it looks like questions are slowing down. So I want to make sure that we get those in before we end today. If by chance we don't receive your questions and you have additional questions, go ahead and please submit those questions after the fact through email, and we will include answers in our Q&A document that will be sent out to all participants. Thank you.
There's a question that was asked. I know it is best practice to use 3 years of data. Is it mandatory or optional? Thanks for that question. The use of 3 years of student growth data is within the law. It's within 380-1249. The law states that 3 years of student growth data must be used when 3 years of student growth data is available. So it's 380-1249 B that states if there's student growth data, assessment data for at least 3 years, the annual year-end evaluation shall be based on the student growth and assessment data for the most three consecutive school year period. If there is not student growth and assessment data available for a teacher for at least 3 school years, the annual year-end evaluation shall be based on all student growth and assessment data that are available for the teacher. So when 3 years of student growth data is not available, then it, of course, can't be used because it's not available for use. But when 3 years of student growth data is available to be used, then it is written within 380-1249 that it is used. So the use of 3 years of student growth data is mandated within 380-1249. So as we had stated a little bit earlier, the districts have flexibility for how 3 years of student growth data is used, but it is mandatory to be used when that student growth data is available. I hope that answers that question. Please let me know if you'd like more clarification about that. And here it looks like another student growth question here. Can you talk about the portion of student growth for next year? Thanks for that question. That's the percentage of student growth for the 2017-2018 is defined within 380-1249. The legislation is written to say for the last school year, this school year, and for the 2017-18 school year, 25% of the annual year-end evaluation shall be based on student growth and assessment data. Beginning in the 2018-19 school year, 40% of the annual year-end evaluation shall be based on student growth and assessment data. So for the next school year, the portion of student growth as mandated for educator evaluation is 25% of the annual year-end evaluation. There isn't a mandate next school year to use student growth data, and that's bird walking from the initial question. But come 2018-2019 school year, state assessment data will be mandated for tested grades and subjects. So for next school year, the mandated amount now, it's possible that districts can allocate more than 25% for annual year-end evaluation, but most districts across the state are following the language of the law that mandates 25% for this school year, 2016, and for next school year, 2017, at 25% of annual year-end evaluation shall be based on student growth data. I hope that answers that question, and please let me know if you'd like some more clarification on that.
So Marty's microphone seems to have cut out for a second. His answer, or the question was, when educator effectiveness is reported in REP, are districts able to see previous evaluation scores through CEPI from other districts for an employee? And his response to that question was that he does not believe that you can, but for a more complete answer to that question, he recommends that you call CEPI, and that number is 517-335-0505, extension 3. Or alternatively, you can email them at cepi@michigan.gov. So we haven't received any additional questions, and it is about time for us to end our session today. So if you do have additional questions and didn't have an opportunity to submit those for this session, please feel free to email those, and we would be happy to respond through our document, our Q&A document that will be sent out to all participants, along with the recording link from our session today and our webinar deck, which is actually quite small this time around. So again, I'm asking that you take about 5 minutes or less and answer our brief, I believe it's 8 questions on our survey, and you can access that survey by clicking on the link in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. We really do value your feedback, and it absolutely is used to guide our decision-making about how we serve you through webinar sessions and even on-site sessions in the future. So if you would be so kind as to give us some feedback on today's session, and also give us some feedback on how you would benefit from future sessions, that would be very much appreciated. Just want to say before we check out here for the day, thank you so much for participating. I recognize so many names who have been with us on most, if not all, of our sessions, and we just really appreciate the opportunity to collaborate. We feel that we learn as much from you as we could offer to you in return, and we just appreciate your thoughtfulness and your willingness to consider us as collaborative partners in this venture. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend. We look forward to collaborating with you in the future.